hard on the landing there, hon.
Yeah, sorry. Good to be home, though.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about the plants and the animals. I mean, I know we weren't gone that long, but do you have the key?
I got somebody taking care of it. Don't worry. Probably not unlocked. Probably not locked either.
What? Who?
Let's just say you know them.
All right.
I thought you guys were back till Thursday.
It is Thursday.
Oh. Oh no.
Hello, my witches and wizards. This is Professor Rowan. I'm coming to you today to discuss the Wizarding Weekend that is coming up at the end of July. It is focused on the Hogwarts Legends area of your registry. This event runs from July 24th, Friday, at 11 a.m. my local time, until July 27th, also at 11 a.m. The Legends of Hogwarts Foundables will be boosted on the map, as well as there will be specific ones boosted when you use your tonic for trace detection. Those Foundables will be Hedwig, Ginny Weasley, Hagrid and Madame Maxine in their ball gown attire, young Remus Lupin, and Albus Dumbledore. Now, when returning any of these Foundables, you have an opportunity to receive a runestone for the Legends of Hogwarts family. It would be a level 1 through 3 runestone. As we've experienced with the Wizarding Weekend in the past, the runestones seem to happen more often than not. And it does end up giving you quite a supply of runestones left over for all of those last few Foundables you may need to find to, prestige your page. There was nothing specifically stated that energy on the map is going to give you 5. I'm just assuming that's going to happen because that's, the standard protocol these days. There will be a free store pack at the beginning of this event. You can pick it up at any time. That free store pack is enough ingredients to brew a tonic for trace detection, 50 energy, and 1 singular runestone. So before we get into the to-do list, there are a couple things I want to point out. First off, there are no dedicated port keys, just like last one. And that kind of makes sense because there's items or Foundables from many different pages. It's not one dedicated page. So which item would you get from the port key? I mean, how would you narrow that down? Instead, they're giving you tons and tons of runestones in hopes that you'll be going into the fortresses and getting the ones that you need that way. Also, our tips and tricks section for this video will be having the SOS taken into consideration. These are going to be dedicated to the new changes that have happened due to the SOS training. Our lovely to-do list requires these things to be done in no particular order, and the ones do kind of have a tendency to feed into each other, but you'll see that in a moment. The biggest one, in my opinion, is to complete 3 wizarding challenges with 3 or more teammates, which should be easily done in the night bus. That will reward you 5 Legends of Hogwarts runestones, level 2 specifically. Now you need to use 10 Legends of Hogwarts runestones in a fortress, which hopefully you would be using a Legends of Hogwarts runestones for the 3 you had to do with 3 or more people. That will get you 1 Potent to Stimula potion. You also need to earn 800 Legends of Hogwarts family XP. Now, we've learned in the past that the best way to do that is by placing images in your registry. So if you have any registry images for Legends of Hogwarts that you're wanting to place, specifically to get those SOS manuals, might I suggest holding off just a couple of days, if you possibly can. Otherwise, hopefully, all of your runestones that you are using, or all the Foundables you will be collecting, should be able, in theory, to give you a few you can place. That will reward you with 1 Wit Sharpening Potion. Now for the specific Foundables that you need to return. You need to return 20 of the Hagrid and Ms. Maxines. 20 of them. Depending on where you are with your registry page, that may allow you to prestige them at least 1 time. Plus, the reward for that is 2 runestones. Legends of Hogwarts runestones, obviously. Those 2 runestones will be level 3. Next, return 15 of young Remus Lupin, which I really hope that they have enough of them out there, because Remus has been the one that's been hardest for me to find in the Marauders group. He will give you 2 level 4 runestones. Finally, return 10 of Albus Dumbledore, his own self. That would give you 2 level 5 runestones. Now, completing the to-do task overall gives you 200 Legends of Hogwarts family XP, 3 red spellbooks, 1 silver key, a strong invigoration drought, and 20 spell energy. Now, the tips and tricks that I can suggest kind of depend on how you've been spending your SOS manuals and your field guides in your new SOS training. When I had originally done the research about it, it made me think that you would research each thing individually, but instead, it's very clear now, reading it, that what happens is it's all spread out. You may need to purchase a reduced brew time on a potion you next to never brew in order to get to the thing that you do want to, which is like a field charm. It's not like this tree is just for field charms, this tree is just for potion brewing. It's spread out all over. There's also ones that give you bonuses or give you a better opportunity to get decent gifts to give, which I'm excited about because I almost always get just the standard gifts. It also has ones where the treasure chest can give you different things. The treasure chest is what appears when you level up your registry family. So for every time you level up your Legends of Hogwarts this time, which you're going to do a lot of, since one of your requirements is 800 XP, that's at least 8 levels up in the registry family. So that would be 8 treasure chests that you would be getting, at least 8 treasure chests. Being a potions professor, I've been trying to focus on potions. Specifically, I have reduced brew time for my potent stimula potions. I have reduced brew time from all of my potions across the board, and I've focused on also my brain elixir. It gives me now quite a bonus above what it already does when I use the brain elixir. I'm hoping that this will help me level up my wizarding XP in general, because, well, let me point out something. When you reach the leveling thresholds within the SOS, it opens up a new section, and that new section, it gives you the first one free. I'm currently level 43, and that's because I'm, been doing other things besides just Wizards Unite. But hopefully, now that my brain elixirs give me significantly more XP than they did before, and take much less time to brew, hopefully it'll get me to the 46 that I need to be to open the next tree just a little bit faster. Also, I want to point out the boosted Foundables and what they will be dropping as far as your new, currency. Albus Dumbledore specifically is an emergency level threat. Red light comes up out of the top of his Foundable. And those Foundables drop, from what I've seen, up to 20 field guides. Placing all the images you're going to need to place in order to get all the XP you need will be giving you plenty of those SOS manuals. And the manuals, from what I've seen, I can get up to 8. Now, the manuals are a little harder to understand. I haven't been able to figure it out yet, but it does look like how many you get depends on the rarity of the Foundable you're placing, as well as the frame it's on. So placing something that's rare on a gold frame is going to give you a lot more of those SOS manuals than placing something that's really common on a copper frame, if that makes sense. I'm going to be doing another video later entirely about how to use the SOS trees to your advantage, but I need to do a lot more research before I can give you that information. The other thing I wanted to point out is your field charms and how they'll be helpful for this event. The inn charm, dropping extra energy on the map, as well as giving extra energy to those who use the inn during the minute and a half or so it's available, would be helpful in this event. Also, the trace charm. Using that should help you get more of the traces you need in order to, complete what you're trying to do. You may have noticed that it's a little odd refilling those charms. Those charms are refilled when you walk your 0.25 a day. When you collect that daily task, it refills each one of those one step. So if you've already upgraded those spells so that you can hold more than one at a time, you're still only getting refilled one a day. If you have increased that ability at this point, I would suggest holding off on using them until you need them in the event. But once you're full up and you need to refill, use it before you refill. There's no point in collecting the refill of your field charms if they're all already full. Might I also suggest you look at your Magium Vitae page? When you go to SOS training, you click on the little wizard in the corner and it'll take you to that page. The Magium Vitae, or Magic Life, is a rundown of all of the improvements you've gotten through your SOS training. It shows you all of the available changes that you can make, as well as which ones you have purchased. It shows the upgrades to your primary skill sets, as well as everything else. Your potion reduction, your gifts, your categorized spell mastery. It breaks everything down for you. So if you've been purchasing SOS training, it shows you which ones you've trained. I also want to point out a couple other things. Your Wizarding ID, now besides showing your Wizarding level, also shows your SOS training level and your combat training level. And though I was excited that combat training was going to be something new, that's actually now what they call your profession. When you go into fortresses now, it shows you your fellow witches and wizards who you are in the fortress with. It shows you their combat training level, which is pretty much how far they've completed their profession. The larger the number, the further down their profession tree they are. So looking at that, I can tell who's going to need the most help. Who, for example, I should put a shield on first. The person with the lowest overall level for their profession. I believe this change is going to be extremely helpful in the fortresses, especially since we're going to be in a fortress with 3 or more people consistently. That will help us know who we can depend on and who we might need to lift up and help through the event. It also should give you an idea if you're waiting for a magizoologist to cast a particular healing on you, for example. Maybe their level isn't high enough for them to even do that yet. So, it gives you a bit more information and makes patience easier to provide. If you have any insights on how you feel the SOS training, how best to go about it, please leave that in the comments below. Also, if you have any tips or tricks that you feel will be helpful for the upcoming Wizarding Weekend, we would love to hear from you. I love reading the comments. Please leave them in the comments below. So there you have it, my witches and wizards, the Legends of Hogwarts weekend event. If these videos are helpful for you, please like, subscribe, share. It really does help us out. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. You guys make stuff like this possible. As always, my witches and wizards, stay safe. So please, keep your eyes peeled, your ears open, and your wands ready.
Why do I have to be Luigi when we play Luigi's Mansion? You really have to ask that? Okay, fair enough. You still owe us for that permanency spell, by the way.